You're listening to the Coach's Journey podcast, exposing the struggles and celebrating the successes in the life of coaches who are action takers and creating authentic impact in today's world. Whether you're just starting out, expanding your reach, or exploding your impact, you're in the right place right now. Stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Now, here are your hosts of the Coach's Journey podcast.
That doesn't mean that they've dealt with all the baseline needs in the bottom, because we all can kind of move up and down within that hierarchy. It's not clear cut, but they're at a point where they're trying to grow. This is why I like working with leaders, because leaders tend to have a very high urgency in serving the people around them, because they've kind of figured out some of their own challenges. They tend to be people who take care of others. They tend to be people who are taking care of a family or a community or an organization or something like that. So they recognize the need for them to grow, to self-actualize. And so they see a need for it. They recognize it. And leaders can be a lot of capacities. It could be parents. It could be organization leaders, community leaders. It could be people in high-level positions and professionals. So, but they need to already understand that there's a thing. And in my practice, for example, almost all the clients that come to me, especially through referrals, they already know that they've heard of something like coaching that could help them with some specific challenges and ways that they want to grow. They don't quite know what coaching is. They have gone some kind of mentoring or something. And this is why I walk them through my process. Then when I walk them through it, they clearly see, oh, this is what I've been looking for. I just didn't know this existed in this form, because it doesn't exist out in the world. It's not a fully developed, like, for example, if somebody needed, like if they had a challenge in their personal life around their trauma, or big T trauma or small T trauma. I think especially in the Western world, people are a little bit too aware of mental health, to be honest. On the other extreme, everything becomes about that. So they know to go to a therapist. In fact, this is becoming a conversation in pretty much every family that I go to. Do you have somebody that's helping you with that? Or in about 10 years ago, this was not a recognized conversation in my family, but now people are like, have you talked? It's becoming a common thing. And in different circles I go to, people have gone therapy, people have gone some kind of support. So but they don't know what the hell coaching is, because
No, they don't.
Current companies haven't tapped into this yet.
I've had a couple conversations just this week with potential clients, and they have said to me, yeah, I probably need therapy. And I know both sides, and I'm thinking, no, actually, that's not that they couldn't benefit from them, and they could potentially give them what they need, but it's probably overkill. It's probably going to be focused in a direction that's not actually going to fully help them move forward. And so I 100% agree that everybody kind of is the go-to right now is therapy, which I am glad that there's this, that we're shifting out of kind of that mental health stigma, that there's a recognition that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to do these things. That I think is amazing. But just as any pendulum swings, I think we were way hitting the other end. And if we can kind of modulate that, and I think that's where coaching comes in, is not everybody needs a therapist. But I do think everybody needs growth. And so the question is, where can they find that best growth? And if they have that mindset already, that they want more growth, that's a good indicator that might be, at least it fits one of your ideal client kind of check marks.
Yeah, and also this is also good to think about now from an industry perspective, that organizations are starting to recognize coaching as a legitimate form of support. So organizations are either hiring in-house coaches. Sometimes they don't even call it. I work with a high-end client. He has a right-hand man. He actually serves as a coach, but he doesn't call it that. He's not even a coach. But when he asked me to start working with him, because he was his right-hand man, he's a business owner, has multiple business, and he was taking care of a lot of his stuff. He's more of an advisor now. So when I started working with him, and he didn't quite know what his role was. He was doing a bunch of stuff. But when I actually looked at it, and I'm like, what does he do on a day-to-day basis? Because his company's out in the UK, and he's always in conversation with their executive team and all that stuff. Guess what he does? He actually coaches them most of the time. He actually helps them mediate some of their relationship challenges. He doesn't call it that, but he already has somebody in-house that takes care of a lot of that stuff. But now there are organizations that are even bringing life coaches or high performance coaches. It's becoming more recognized, and that's a good indicator for the industry itself, because I mean, the world of psychology was in the same boat a few decades ago. Nobody recognized what the hell, like it wasn't even recognized as a science. Now it was more of a branch of philosophy in the beginning, and then it keeps going back and forth between philosophy and science, but it's somewhere in the middle. Oh, you're muted, Sherry. You're still muted.
Thank you. We're going to jump into the third one here in a minute, but I want to hang out just a little bit longer on the second point of the framework. And I want to share with you the journey of Coaching Mastery Community, again, who is the sponsor of this. We go through and have gone through the journey of who is our ideal client, how are we going to best serve, what does that look like, just like any coach, because we are coaches and we're here to serve our clients. Our Just Clients is a membership community of other coaches. So, you know, it's kind of like, it's like the meta of coaching, right? It's like coaching of coaching. And so we've gone through some journeys, and would love to share just a little bit as another frame of reference or another example of how to think about what you have to offer, and does it actually match what your potential client recognizes they need. So if I saw there's been a couple conversations you had relatively recent past, can you just kind of unpack a couple of the things that you've noticed that we have done well or not well as a community, and kind of honing in on who we can best serve?
Yeah, and keep in mind, so when we're both, Sharon and I are both leaders of this community, and when our community came into being, it was more of a volunteer effort in the beginning. We've been in this world for a good 5+ years at this point, which means that we started this out with a group of peers who are coaches, and we recognized the need for a community to give each other feedback on our process, coaching process, skill sets, and other things. Slowly, it became about the business side too. And about a couple of years ago, we transitioned that community into a business, not because we actually wanted to. It was actually we were willing to move forward because there was so much effort required to do this, and the community voted to, like, why don't you turn this into a membership? And so we started with the original members who just wanted feedback for their process, and we've been trying to figure out who are the ideal clients from a business model point of view, and that's been a huge journey for us. And now fast forward, I won't go into all the details of it, but fast forward, we're actually recognizing two different types of clients that we have right now. One is an ideal set, the other one is not. And it's not a judgment towards our clients. It's just that what we offer might not be the need for them at this time. So the one set of clients where these are coaches who have jumped in and recognized that they want to be coaches, but they're not quite serious enough to invest in it from a career point of view or a vocation point of view, that this is going to be a long-term thing. I'm going to do this. I partly blame this on the marketing world, that they're given a lot of promises that, hey, if you get a few clients, you're going to make a 6-figure income or a 7-figure income. But they omit the fact that you need to build skill sets. You need to build any field, whether you're becoming a doctor, engineer, or a plumber. You need to spend a bit of time working on your craft. And on top of that, you're building a business, because the industry is not built. You can't just go find a job in it. You can to some degree, but for the most part, you need to build your own practice, whether it's a solopreneur or a full business. So when coaches jump in, they jump in with the illusion that they're going to find a client in 10 days or in a month or something like that. But there's a huge learning curve they are going through. So a lot of them are not ready to fully invest because they don't actually understand what it takes. It takes months and years of dedication to make this work. Now, of course, our community and programs like ours will support you and accelerate your path. But if you don't have that mindset to invest on a vocation, on a path, long-term path, you're just gonna, like, I'm just gonna go get a few clients myself. And this is the mindset that we hear. They're not our ideal clients because they think what they're doing is just finding clients here and there and working with them, and they can charge them at a higher ticket price without having to work on their own craft, without understanding business and any of that stuff. And we're recognizing now they're not ideal clients. Why? Because we're having to convince them a lot of times that you need this.
Yeah.
And a lot of our energy goes towards that.
Absolutely. And, and it's like likening it to, let's say, losing weight. that I'm going to have a hard time convincing somebody that XYZ is going to help them lose weight unless they've tried other things and realized that that wasn't sufficient or it didn't work. And so it's like 100% what Faisal's saying is, are you, because we've noticed this, and we have spent an enormous amount of time and energy educating and trying to convince, trying to help people understand. And the education isn't wrong or bad. Again, like that's something that I know we will continue to do because we're passionate about it. We want people at the very beginning stages as they're trying to figure out, am I going to just dabble in coaching? Is this just a side thing that I want to do because I'm good at it, or because people tend to talk to me a lot, and so maybe I'll try my hand in this? That's different than people that are like, this is my life's work right now. I have done my career, and now I'm going to spend the rest of my life with all the wisdom and experience I have. I'm going to really have a strong impact in other people. Those are two very different places in the journey of coaching. And so while we can still provide value to the one, our value, our ability to impact the world is going to be best served right now with the people that like recognize, like, I want to hit the ground running. Like, this is my life's work right now. And so when you think about your own potential clients and who you're serving, are you spending a lot of time and energy and getting drained by trying to convince them of something related to what you do? Or are you finding the people that are already raising their hand and they're like, I need something, and then you just happen to come along and they're like, yes, that's what I've been looking for?
You're listening to the Coach's Journey podcast.